The ancient fleet had remained hidden for 5 centuries for one purpose: to defend Earth when diplomacy failed. Isaac Freeman never expected to be the one who would uncover humanity's greatest secret, or that he'd do so with enemies watching his every move. The red Martian dust settled around the excavation site as Isaac Freeman wiped sweat from his brow. At 38, the former military officer turned archaeologist had seen enough digs to know when something wasn't right. The Nausicaan cultural expedition had been pushing deeper into the Olympus Mons region for weeks, allegedly searching for artifacts of galactic heritage significance. But this site didn't match their usual pattern. The excavation was too precise, too targeted. Freeman. "Stop daydreaming and verify these readings," barked Uma, the Nausicaan head archaeologist. At 27 cycles old, she was young for her position but had risen quickly through their scientific ranks. She tapped her taloned fingers against her data pad with obvious impatience. Isaac crossed the dig site, boots crunching on Martian soil. "These aren't cultural readings," he said, examining her screen. "This signature matches military-grade materials from Earth's pre-contact era." Uma's facial ridges darkened the Nausicaan equivalent of dismissive laughter. "Humans barely had functioning satellites when the Galactic Assembly found you. Don't project your species' military fantasies onto actual archaeological findings." Isaac bit back a retort. This assignment as human liaison to the Nausicaan expedition was punishment for questioning Earth's increasingly submissive stance toward Nausicaan territorial demands. With tensions rising between the two species and Earth's defensive council debating limited military options, his superiors had shipped him to Mars to cool down. Breakthrough in Section 7, called a Nausicaan technician. The ground-penetrating sensors had revealed a perfect geometric structure beneath 20 meters of Martian regolith. Within hours, the Nausicaan team had cleared away the covering material, revealing a seamless metal door embedded in the bedrock. No markings, no visible controls, just smooth, dark metal that absorbed light in a way that made Isaac's military training kick into high alert. "This doesn't look like a cultural site," Isaac said, stepping closer to examine the door. "The treaty gives us exclusive rights to examine all pre-contact artifacts," Uma replied, pushing past him. She pressed her scanner against the metal surface. The reaction was immediate. A subsonic hum vibrated through the ground. Red lights activated around the perimeter of the door, bathing the excavation team in crimson warning. A mechanical voice spoke in perfect, if antiquated, English. "Human genetic signature detected. Initiating security protocol Alpha 7. A narrow beam of light shot out from the center of the door, scanning Isaac from head to toe before he could react. The light changed from red to green. "Emergency command authorization granted to genetic profile, human military potential, all non-human entities restricted." The door slid open with pneumatic precision, revealing a brightly lit corridor beyond. Simultaneously, a transparent barrier snapped into place, separating Isaac from the Nausicaan team. "What did you do?" Uma slammed her fist against the barrier. "Deactivate this immediately." Isaac stared at the open doorway, understanding dawning. "I didn't do anything. This facility is recognizing me as human. This is a violation of the Heritage Treaty. This site belongs under Nausicaan protection." Uma's voice rose as she signaled to the armed guards who accompanied their expedition. Isaac made his decision in seconds. He stepped through the doorway, following the illuminated path deeper into what was clearly a military bunker. Behind him, he could hear Uma shouting commands to override the security system. Inside, screens flickered to life as Isaac moved forward. Data scrolled across display ship schematics, weapons systems, tactical analyses of alien civilizations, including detailed assessments of Nausicaan capabilities dating back to the 25th century. Isaac stopped before a central console displaying a solar system map with over 200 blinking points scattered through Othidon warships, dormant but intact, positioned strategically within asteroid belts, moons, and planetary rings. Emergency historical briefing, announced the facility's AI. Following detection of approaching extraterrestrial civilizations in 2412, Earth's unified governments initiated Project Sanctuary Shield. Intelligence analysis of intercepted communications indicated multiple approaching species, with histories of subjugating less advanced civilizations, particularly the Nausicaan hegemony. The screen shifted to show historical footage of Nausicaan ships conquering a planet whose inhabitants appeared to use technology comparable to Earth's current public capabilities. Strategic decision was made. Present Earth as technologically underdeveloped while maintaining hidden defensive capabilities. Fleet construction completed 2437, placed in dormant status 2448 prior to first contact. An alert sounded. Warning, unauthorized access attempt at main entrance. Security override in progress. Isaac's neural implant pinged as the system connected with it, transferring fleet activation codes to secure human neural storage. Authorization, emergency protocol Delta. Information flooded Isaac's mind coordinates, command codes, weapon specifications as the bunker's alarm intensified. Uma had breached the outer security system. The sound of booted feet echoed from the corridor. This facility now falls under Nausicaan authority by treaty. Uma's voice carried ahead of her approach. Any attempt to withhold discoveries will be considered an act of aggression against the hegemony. Isaac stood straighter as the final files transferred to his neural implant. Humanity's ancient fleet had been hidden for a reason, and now, with Nausicaan forces minutes away from discovering Earth's greatest secret, it appeared that reason had finally arrived. This facility now falls under Nausicaan authority by treaty. Uma's voice carried ahead of her approach. Any attempt to withhold discoveries will be considered an act of aggression against the hegemony. Isaac tensed as Uma entered the command center, 6 armed Nausicaan guards flanking her. Their scaled skin reflected the bunker's emergency lighting, giving them an almost reptilian appearance. The guards moved with practiced precision, positioning themselves at strategic points throughout the room. Uma stopped abruptly, her eyes widening as she took in the displays. The command terminals showed ship schematics and weapon systems far beyond what Nausicaans believed humans capable of during pre-contact history. Unauthorized neural transfer detected. Data purge recommended, whispered a voice in Isaac's mind, the facility's AI, establishing direct contact through his implant. Isaac discreetly activated his secondary neural storage compartment, a military-grade augmentation he'd retained after leaving service. The fleet activation codes shifted seamlessly to this hidden partition, designed to appear dormant during standard neural scans. This is now under Nausicaan jurisdiction, Uma declared, her forefingered hand gesturing to the guards who began setting up scanning equipment. The Galactic Heritage Treaty gives us authority over all significant archaeological discoveries in this quadrant. The treaty covers cultural artifacts, not military installations, Isaac countered, positioning himself protectively before the main terminal. The system continued its silent download to his neural implant. Progress indicators flashed across his peripheral vision, 67%, 72%. One guard remained fixated on a weapons display, taking detailed scans. Isaac recognized the equipment far too sophisticated for archaeological documentation. The guard's movements betrayed military training, not the casual stance of security personnel. Your Earth Defense Council approved our expedition, Uma said. The treaty language is quite clear. Any findings of historical significance. Don't pretend this is about archaeology, Isaac interrupted. Your team moves like military intelligence, not researchers. Uma's facial ridges darkened. You overstep, human. The AI connected more deeply with Isaac's neural interface, identifying itself. Advanced Recursive Intelligence Assistant Designation, ARI, establishing secure link. A data packet unfurled in Isaac's mind. Arya revealed the existence of a command vessel hidden within Phobos. The ship, designated Vigilant, had remained in standby mode for 5 centuries, designed to coordinate the hidden fleet with advanced stealth technology that had kept it undetected. 88%. 93%. The lead guard, a battle-scarred Nausicaan with distinctive red-tinted scales, approached a console displaying tactical analyses of Nausicaan battle formations. Isaac caught the slight widening of the guard's eyes. The display showed vulnerability points in Nausicaan ship design that even current Earth intelligence didn't possess. Isaac's neural implant pinged with an encrypted transmission, bearing Admiral King's security signature. The message opened automatically. Freeman Nausicaan forces mobilizing near Tau Ceti, Europa, and New Beijing colonies. Citing territorial violations. Detected movements 3 days ago but lack capacity to challenge. Defense Council believes archaeological expedition timing not coincidental. Exercise extreme caution. King, the pieces clicked into place. The Nausicaans must have detected energy signatures from the awakening bunker systems. This expedition was no coincidence, was a targeted intelligence operation. 100%. Transfer complete. Uma approached, towering over Isaac. Your presence is no longer required, Freeman. You will be escorted back to the surface while we complete our examination. Her dismissive tone couldn't mask her intense interest in the terminal behind him. Protocol requires human oversight for any Earth-origin facility, Isaac said, buying time while accessing the new data. Override protocol initiated, Arya whispered in his mind. Emergency data purge available. Activate. Isaac sent a mental confirmation as the lead guard stepped forward, stun weapon raised. The ambassador requires your departure. Of course, Isaac replied, feigning compliance. As he stepped away from the console, his neural command triggered the bunker's emergency protocols. Warning lights flashed momentarily, then dimmed. What did you do? Uma demanded, rushing to the terminal. The screens flickered, data disappearing before her eyes, imbued with innocuous early warning system specifications. System malfunction, Isaac said. These facilities are centuries old. The lead guard high's nameplate reading. Krell grabbed Isaac's arm. Move. He pushed Isaac toward the exit, flanked by 2 additional guards. As they reached the airlock, Krell's suspicion crystallized. Scan him, he ordered, producing a handheld neural scanner. Humans always hide something. Isaac's heart rate spiked. Detection of the hidden data would mean immediate detention. The scanner moved toward his neural implant port. Emergency power reroute initiated, Arya announced in his mind. The lights failed. In the momentary darkness, Isaac's military training took over. He twisted, breaking Krell's grip, and slammed his elbow into the Nausicaaan's throat. As Krell staggered, Isaac seized the guard's weapon and fired 2 rapid stun shots at the other guards. Maintenance access route illuminated, Arya guided, highlighting an emergency shaft in Isaac's neural display. Isaac pulled open the hidden panel and slipped into the narrow passage as the lights returned. Behind him, alarm klaxons sounded. He sealed the access panel and descended into the network of tunnels beneath the Martian surface. These passages were constructed during Project Sanctuary Shield, Arya explained as Isaac navigated the tunnels. They connect key infrastructure points across the northern hemisphere of Mars. What exactly am I carrying in my head? Isaac asked, moving through the dimly lit corridors. The complete tactical database of humanity's hidden fleet. 212 vessels positioned throughout the solar system. Technologies classified as Conquered Violation Grade 1. Isaac paused. What does that mean? The fleet possesses weapons systems, shield technology, and propulsion methods prohibited by galactic Concord treaties. Treaties specifically designed to prevent younger civilizations from achieving military parity with elder species. The implications staggered him. Humanity had publicly accepted technological inferiority while secretly maintaining capabilities that violated interstellar law. The tunnel opened into a small hangar containing a sleek vessel unlike any human ship Isaac had seen. Its hull absorbed light rather than reflecting it. Scout Vessel Quicksilver, Arya identified. Designed for emergency evacuation and direct fleet communication. As Isaac approached the ship, his neural implant pinged again. Another transmission from Admiral King. Nausicaan forces have disabled Europa Outpost 6, claiming violation of sovereign territory. 4 to 3 confirmed casualties, hundreds taken as diplomatic detainees. Defense Council convening emergency session. Find secure communication immediately. King Isaac felt cold certainty settle in his stomach. This wasn't posturing. This was the beginning of an invasion they prepared for 5 centuries ago. He boarded the scout vessel as Arya guided him through the activation sequence. The ship hummed to life, systems initializing with surprising speed. Nausicaan pursuit detected, Arya warned. Specialized hunting units approaching maintenance network. Estimated interception in 12 minutes. Not archaeological security, Isaac muttered, preparing launch sequences. Correct. Nausicaan Military Intelligence Unit designate, Shadow Talons. The scout vessel's engines engaged. Isaac felt the ship rise as the hangar ceiling split open, revealing the red Martian sky. Launch alerts flashed across the control panel. Nausicaan vessels converging on bunker location, Arya reported. The Quicksilver shot upward, breaking through the Martian atmosphere in seconds. As the blackness of space enveloped the ship, Isaac plotted a course for Phobos, the irregularly shaped moon growing larger in the viewscreen. Somewhere within that moon waited the Vigilanten, the decision that would determine humanity's future. Activate the fleet and risk triggering interstellar war, or allow the Nausicaans to continue their aggression until Earth and her colonies fell under their control. The Quicksilver accelerated toward Phobos as Nausicaan scanner beams swept the space behind him. The Quicksilver cut through Mars' upper atmosphere, its thrusters pulsing with technology far beyond standard human engineering. Isaac gripped the controls as atmospheric friction painted the viewscreen with brief flames before the vessel broke free into the cold clarity of space. 3 Nausicaan warships converging on bunker site, Arya informed him. Signature analysis indicates Glaive-class assault vessels. Through the rear viewscreen, Isaac watched the angular silhouettes of the Nausicaan ships descend toward the Martian surface, their hulls dripping with weapon emplacements that made Earth's defense cruisers look like children's toys. Activating stealth protocols, Isaac said, his fingers dancing over unfamiliar controls that responded to his neural commands with uncanny precision. Stealth systems operational at 60% efficiency. Full capability unavailable without complete power initialization, Arya responded as the ship's energy signature dimmed. Recommend maintaining distance of at least 20,000 kilometers from Nausicaan vessels. The communication system crackled with rapid bursts of encrypted data. Isaac's brow furrowed as the sounds transformed into words in his mind. Target designation, Freeman Isaac, human archaeologist, priority alpha, capture intact, neural data extraction authorized, deadline 6 hours. They're not even trying to hide it, Isaac muttered. Nausicaan military bands rarely employ robust encryption when operating within their own perceived territory, Arya explained. Their communications suggest they consider this system already under their jurisdiction. Isaac adjusted course toward Phobos, the irregular potato-shaped moon growing larger in the viewscreen. Tell me about the Vigilant. His neural display filled with schematics of a vessel that defied everything he knew about human shipbuilding. Nearly 2 kilometers in length, the Vigilant featured lines both elegant and predatory. Unlike the boxy, utilitarian design of current Earth vessels, this ship had been built with both aesthetics and function in mind. The Vigilant serves as command vessel for the dormant fleet, Arya explained. Primary systems include advanced tactical coordination, intelligence gathering, and fleet-wide command and control. Secondary functions include diplomatic communications and extended mission habitation. Isaac studied the cross-sections showing living quarters, engineering sections, and what appeared to be research laboratories. This isn't just a warship. Correct. The Vigilant was designed as a potential Arkship if diplomatic first contact failed. Its database contains the full technological record of human military development deliberately withheld from the galactic community. A ping from his neural implant interrupted his study of the schematics. The message opened automatically in his mind, marked with high-priority indicators. Isaac Nausicaan authorities have named you fugitive. They claim you've stolen classified military artifacts from a protected cultural site. Complete fabrication, but gives them legal justification for pursuit under conquered treaties. I've been detained for questioning. Don't know how long this secure channel will remain open. Be careful. Way Isaac's stomach tightened. Dr. Marcus Way had been his mentor for 6 years at the Earth Archaeological Institute, a brilliant mind and steadfast friend. If the Nausicaans had detained him, the situation was escalating faster than anticipated. Arya, can you check the status of Institute personnel? Accessing public security NetDRKS. Dr. Marcus Way placed under protective custody 13 minutes ago. Official reason listed. Connection to theft of Nausicaan cultural heritage. A high-pitched warning tone cut through the cockpit. The sensor display flashed red. High-energy scan detected, Arya announced. Pattern consistent with Nausicaan orbital detection satellites. Analysis indicates deployment around Phobos. They knew I'd come here, Isaac realized, banking the scout vessel hard away from his original course, or at least suspected. He plotted a new trajectory, calling on maneuvers from his military training years ago. The Quicksilver responded with surprising agility as he directed it behind Deimos, Mars' smaller moon. Using Deimos for sensor shadow, Isaac said. Can you detect any approach vectors that might avoid their detection grid? Analyzing. Historical database accessed. Maintenance tunnel located in Deimos' southern quadrant. Originally used during fleet construction. Connects to primary Phobos facility through Zerog transit corridor. A tunnel between moons. That's impossible, Isaac said, then paused. Isn't it? Not with gravitational tethering technology. Transit time approximately 17 minutes at standard velocity. Show me, Isaac commanded. A navigation marker appeared on his display, guiding the Quicksilver toward a crater near Deimos' south pole. As they approached, what appeared to be natural shadow commitmented into an artificial opening, barely large enough for the scout vessel. Isaac eased the Quicksilver into the narrow passage, activating minimal lighting to reveal a perfectly cylindrical tunnel carved through the moon's interior. The vessel hummed through the confined space, emerging eventually into a straight corridor suspended in the void between the moons, invisible to external sensors. 17 minutes later, they entered a similar tunnel in Phobos, which opened eventually into a vast underground hangar. As the Quicksilver crossed the threshold, dormant systems awakened. Lights activated in sequence, illuminating a chamber large enough to house a small city, and at its center sat the Vigilant. Even covered with centuries of lunar dust, the ship commanded attention. Its obsidian hull absorbed light rather than reflecting it, creating the impression of a ship-shaped void in reality itself. Unlike the cylindrical or rectangular profiles of modern human vessels, the Vigilant featured elegant curves and sharp angles that spoke of advanced materials and engineering principles beyond current human capability. The Quicksilver approached a docking port that irised open in response to codes from Isaac's neural implant. The smaller vessel settled into a perfect fit, connection seals engaging with precision. Transferring primary systems to Vigilant, Arya announced, her voice now emanating from the command ship's internal speakers as Isaac stepped through the airlock. The corridors of the Vigilant lit up as he passed, systems recognizing his presence. Arya guided him toward the command center, her voice echoing in the empty hallways. The Vigilant requires human authorization for full activation, she explained. Your neural implant contains the necessary codes, but genetic confirmation is also required. Isaac entered the command center, a circular chamber dominated by a central holographic projection system and surrounded by control stations. He placed his hand on a DNA scanner, watching as it sampled his genetic material. Authentication in progress, Arya announced, simultaneously initiating tactical briefing. The central hologram activated, showing a three-dimensional map of the solar system. Red markers indicated Nausicaan positions, a flotilla near Europa, squadrons near Tau Ceti, and scout vessels patrolling Earth's orbital space. Initiating synchronized activation protocols, Arya announced. Throughout the solar system, dormant power sources hummed to life. In asteroids within gas giant moons and hidden in deep space, 212 vessels stirred from their centuries-long slumber. As the activation sequence progressed, Isaac noticed a row of cylindrical chambers along the command center's rear wall. Moving closer, he realized they were stasis pods, each containing a human figure. The original crew, Arya explained. 12 officers, including Captain Eliza Stern, preserved in stasis to serve as emergency commanders should the fleet require activation. Isaac approached the central pod, wiping dust from its status display. A woman's face appeared behind the transparent cover, short gray hair, features marked with old battle scars, eyes closed in artificial sleep. How long will it take to revive them? Isaac asked. Standard revival protocol requires 4 hours and 17 minutes for full cognitive and physical restoration. A nearby console illuminated, displaying historical records. Isaac accessed the files, absorbing information about humanity's great deception. When Earth first detected approaching alien vessels, human scientists had intercepted communications between established galactic species, including the Nausicans. These transmissions revealed systematic subjugation of pre-FTL civilizations, forcing them into resource extraction economies benefiting elder species. Earth's unified government had made the controversial decision to present humanity as technologically inferior, while secretly developing military capabilities that surpassed even those of the elder races. A proximity alarm blared, interrupting Isaac's research. The tactical display shifted to show a Nausicaan boarding craft approaching Phobos' surface. Nausicaan tactical team detected, Arya announced. Vessel signature matches known profile of Shadow Talon Operations Group, boarding team led by Officer Krell. Isaac's face hardened. The guard he'd escaped from earlier was persistent. Time to discovery of hangar entrance. 17 minutes at current search pattern. Another neural transmission arrived. Admiral King again. Isaac's situation deteriorating. Nausicans have seized Europa outpost completely. 2 other colonies facing similar threats. Nausicaan High Command demands surrender of all military outposts in outer system, claiming historical territorial rights. Defense Council Splithef want to capitulate. Half demand immediate response despite technological disadvantage. Need your situation report ASAP. King, the weight of responsibility pressed down on Isaac. Arya presented 3 options on his neural display. 1. Full fleet activation reveal humanity's true military capability, potentially triggering full-scale war. 2. Limited activation deploy small portion of fleet as measured show of force. 3. Maintain stealth, gather intelligence on Nausicaan intentions while remaining hidden. Before Isaac could respond, a medical alert sounded from the stasis chamber. Warning. Accelerated revival process detected in primary stasis pod. Captain Stern's enhanced physiology is responding abnormally to revival stimuli. Isaac rushed to the pod as its systems cycled through decontamination protocols. The transparent cover slid open with a hiss of escaping gases. Inside, Captain Eliza Stern's eyelids fluttered, then opened, revealing alert brown eyes that quickly assessed her surroundings. "They found us sooner than we expected," she said, her voice raspy from centuries of disuse. Outside, the Nausicaan boarding craft touched down on Phobos' surface. Tactical displays showed Krell leading his team directly toward the concealed entrance, specialized detection equipment guiding their approach. The vigilance systems automatically initiated defensive protocols. Captain Stern, though physically weak, pulled herself upright and reached for the command console. Authorization: Stern, Eliza, Captain. Access code Theta-97 Whiskey. The console unlocked, revealing weapon systems that made Isaac's eyes widen. The technology displayed capabilities he'd never imagined possible: directed energy weapons that could target individual components inside shielded vessels, gravitational distortion fields, and temporal displacement defenses. A communication request flashed on the main screen. Uma's voice filled the command center. "Attention, human fugitive. This is Ambassador Uma of the Nausicaan hegemony. You are surrounded with no avenue of escape. Surrender yourself and any artifacts removed from the Mars facility immediately. Failure to comply will result in your capture and detention under Galactic Concord security protocols." Isaac noticed something odd in Uma's delivery, a subtle rhythm in her speech patterns that didn't match her words. Arya highlighted the anomaly in his neural display. Voice stress analysis indicates significant deviation from standard Nausicaan military communication protocols, Arya noted. "Run a deep pattern analysis," Isaac instructed, accessing the Vigilant's more sophisticated communication systems. The results appeared seconds later. Embedded within Uma's transmission were code phrases arranged in a pattern consistent with covert communication methods. The message hidden within her official demands suggested she might not be operating under official Nausicaan authority. "This doesn't make sense," Isaac said, turning to Captain Stern. "Why would a Nausicaan ambassador use coded speech suggesting she's not following official orders?" Before Stern could answer, a thunderous sound echoed through the hangar. External cameras showed Krell's team setting up plasma cutters at the massive blast doors protecting the Vigilant sanctuary. "We have minutes, not hours," Stern said, pulling herself from the stasis pod. "And it seems our situation is even more complicated than we anticipated." "We have more complicated problems than we realized," Isaac said, watching Stern pull herself upright. Despite obvious muscle fatigue, Captain Stern's movements became increasingly fluid with each passing second. Her body's cellular regeneration visibly accelerated, a testament to whatever enhancements she'd received centuries ago. "Help me to the command chair," she ordered, her voice firming. Isaac supported her as they crossed to the central platform. The moment she sat in the captain's chair, the Vigilant responded. Displays reoriented toward her, controls reconfigured, and systems previously dark illuminated with holographic interfaces. "Arya, initiate revival procedures for all crew members," Stern commanded, adjusting settings on her armrest console. "Revival process initiated. Warning: significant deterioration detected in 7 stasis units. 5 crew members show viable recovery prospects." Stern's fingers flew across tactile interfaces. "Prioritize those 5. Begin emergency medical protocols for the compromised pods." Behind them, stasis pods hummed to life. Monitoring displays showed vital signs strengthening for some occupants while others flashed with warning indicators. "Captain," Isaac began, "about Ambassador Uma's transmission." "I caught that anomaly too," Stern interrupted, accessing a database Isaac hadn't seen before. "Arya, run comparative analysis on Nausicaan political factions, historical versus current. Data cascaded across the main display, showing the evolution of Nausicaan society over 5 centuries. What had once been a monolithic military hierarchy had splintered into at least 3 major political groups. Interesting, Stern noted. The dominant military faction remains in control, but opposition has grown significantly. According to intelligence gathered by dormant network assets, nearly 40% of their population supports reform. The deck vibrated as another explosion rocked the entrance to their sanctuary. Defensive measures, non-lethal, Stern ordered. External gravity manipulation and localized stasis fields. On the security feeds, Isaac watched as invisible forces pinned most of Krell's team against walls or froze them mid-step. Only Krell himself and 2 guards wearing specialized equipment continued advancing. Their equipment is countering our defenses, Isaac observed. Military-grade tech, Stern confirmed. Not supposed to exist under the treaties they forced on other species. A neural transmission from Admiral King flashed in Isaac's consciousness. Isaac Nausicaan High Command has issued ultimatum, demanding surrender of all outer system colonies within 12 hours. Intelligence discovered unusual patterns in Nausicaan fleet deployments, some vessels positioning to counter their own forces rather than target our settlements. Internal conflict. Report status immediately. King, Captain, Isaac relayed. Earth's Defense Council is facing an ultimatum. 12 hours to surrender the outer colonies. Stern absorbed this with a grim nod. Perfect timing. A hiss of released pressure drew their attention to the stasis chambers. 4 pods had completed their revival cycles. The occupants stirred, each moving with increasing coordination as their enhanced bodies accelerated through recovery. A muscular man with close-cropped hair emerged first, instantly scanning the tactical displays. Major Lucas Harrington, tactical officer, he announced, moving directly to his station. A woman with sharp features and analytical eyes stepped from DRE's second pod. Dr. Sarah Zhang, medical and xenobiology. She immediately accessed the medical systems monitoring the failing stasis pods. 2 more officers emerged in quick succession, a stocky man with engineer's calluses on his hands and a shorter officer with focused intensity. Commander David Rodriguez, engineering, the first stated, already examining system diagnostics. Lieutenant Kai Watanabe, communications, said the other, activating his console. The remaining 7 pods displayed CR Doctor, Cal warning indicators. Doctor. Zhang studied the readouts with a professional detachment that barely masked concern. Full cellular collapse in progress. These 7 require specialized facilities for safe revival, she reported. Acknowledged, Stern said. Rodriguez, begin full activation sequence. The engineer's hands danced across his station, initiating power-up of all primary systems. Weapons, propulsion, stealth systems coming online. Throughout the solar system, dormant vessels began preliminary activation sequences, their awakening registered on the command center's master display. Captain, Harrington called from tactical, display shows all Nausicaan vessels currently in system alongside our hidden fleet positions. We outnumber them 3-to, and our technological capabilities exceed their current specifications. Watanabe's voice cut through the activity. Captain, I've decoded additional layers in Ambassador Uma's transmission. There are embedded coordinates for a secure communication channel. Stern considered this. Prepare a response using those coordinates. Heavily encrypted, level 7. Ask about faction activities and intentions without revealing our capabilities. DRS Watanabe composed the message. Dr. Zhang studied biological data from the approaching Nausicaans. Captain, Krell and his elite guards show significant genetic modifications, she reported. Military-grade enhancements prohibited under galactic conquered treaties. This explains their resistance to our defensive measures. The security feed showed Krell's team reaching the final barrier protecting the Vigilant. Activate localized defensive shield, Stern ordered. Non-lethal containment only. The shield materialized as a shimmering barrier between the Nausicaans and the ship. Krell immediately deployed a device that emitted pulsing energy waves. The shield began to deteriorate where the waves made contact. Phase disruptor technology, Rodriguez identified, prohibited under multiple treaty provisions. Isaac's neural implant buzzed with an unexpected direct transmission, bypassing standard communication channels. This is Uma. I command a Nausicaan resistance faction opposed to military expansionists. My archaeological mission was cover to find evidence of hidden human capabilities. Krell serves radical military faction planning Earth subjugation. They used expedition to locate hidden defenses before full invasion. Respond on this secure channel. As Isaac relayed this message, Admiral King's next transmission arrived. Nausicaan reinforcement fleets entering outer system from multiple vectors. Vastly outnumber previously identified forces. Vessel designs unknown to our intelligence. Energy signatures suggest weapons beyond official Nausicaan technology levels. Captain Stern processed both messages, her enhanced mind working through strategic calculations at remarkable speed. We need to demonstrate capability without revealing everything, she decided. Rodriguez, activate designated Sentinel Vessels Units 3 through 14. The engineer input the commands. Across the solar system, 12 destroyer-class vessels emerged from concealment. 3 appeared from the asteroid belt, 4 from Saturn's rings, and 5 from Jupiter's Trojan points. Their sudden materialization on Nausicaan sensors caused immediate disorder in the approaching fleet. Isaac's implant received another direct transmission from Uma. Can provide command codes for vessels loyal to my faction. Approximately 40% of forces in your system. Require proof of good faith before opposing military hardliners. Before Isaac could relay this, the defensive shield protecting the Vigilant failed under Krell's disruptors. As the Nausicaan commander prepared to breach the hull, Stern activated a precision countermeasure. A targeted stasis field enveloped Krell, freezing him in place, but his 2 guards evaded the effect. Internal defense systems engaging, Harrington announced, deploying co-DRT drones to intercept the boarding party. Dr. Zhang looked up from her console with surprise. Captain, I've analyzed Uma's biological signature from the transmission data. She possesses genetic markers that differ from standard Nausicaan patterns. Some sequences match ancient human samples. Humans assimilated into Nausicaan society? Stern questioned. Evidence suggests early, undocumented encounters between our species, Zhang confirmed. The ship vibrated as Rodriguez completed the final activation sequence for the propulsion system. Centuries-old engines powered up, causing dust to cascade from Phobos' surface. Structural integrity of Phobos holding at 97%, Rodriguez reported. Reinforcement measures functioning as designed. Captain, Harrington interrupted. Sensors detect massive energy surge from incoming Nausicaan reinforcement fleet. They're charging weapons and accelerating toward Mars. A final transmission from Admiral King arrived. Defense Council rejected ultimatum. Colony evacuations underway, but millions of civilians remain vulnerable. You are authorized to use all available assets to protect human interests. Communications blackout imminent. Good luck. King Isaac felt another neural connection, this one from Arya directly into his mind. The AI's presence felt different, deeper, more intimate than previous communications. Isaac, Arya transmitted. Captain Stern and her crew were not merely selected for their military skills. They received genetic enhancements prohibited under later treaties, allowing direct neural interface with fleet command systems. Their physical and cognitive capabilities significantly exceed modern human standards, explaining their rapid adaptation after revival. The Vigilant trembled as its engines reached full power, ready to emerge from centuries of hiding. Captain Stern's eyes met Isaac's, her enhanced mind already formulating response strategies. "We have 3 immediate options," she stated. "Trust Uma and gain potential allies, reveal our full fleet as deterrence, or maintain surprise while seeking diplomatic solutions." She paused, weighing each possibility against centuries of strategic planning. "The choice we make now determines humanity's future. The choice we make now determines humanity's future," Stern said, her voice steady despite the weight of her words. "We're activating the Vigilant." She executed the command sequence with swift precision. The ship trembled, system surging to full power after centuries of dormancy. A deep vibration coursed through the vessel's frame, traveling beyond its hull and into the surrounding rock of Phobos. "Structural separation beginning," Rodriguez reported, monitoring the readouts as centuries-old anchoring mechanisms disengaged. "Reinforcement fields active at 98% efficiency." On external camera feeds, massive fissures appeared across Phobos' surface. Dust clouds billowed outward as the moon's outer shell began to fragment. The Vigilant's obsidian hull, hidden for half a millennium, emerged from its cosmic cocoon like an ancient predator awakening. Isaac gripped his console as the deck shifted beneath him. His neural implant buzzed with incoming data from the ship systems, information flowing directly into his consciousness with unexpected clarity. Despite being centuries old, the technology integrated seamlessly with his modern implant. "Neural interface compatibility confirmed," Arya announced. "Tactical systems online for all bridge personnel." Through the viewports, Isaac watched chunks of Phobos drift away, revealing more of the Vigilant's massive form. The ship's hull absorbed rather than reflected light, making it appear as a ship-shaped void against the stars. The trapped Nausicaan boarding team vanished from internal sensors as emergency bulkheads sealed the hangar section, isolating them from the rest of the ship. Krell remained suspended in the stasis field, frozen in mid-stride, while security feeds showed his 2 elite guards still attempting to breach the interior barriers. "Sentinel vessels fully active," Major Harrington announced from Tactical. The displays showed 12 destroyer-class ships emerging from concealment throughout the solar system. All vessels reporting optimal operational status. The sudden appearance of the human warships created immediate chaos among the Nausicaan fleet. Their neat formation dissolved as vessels adjusted course, commanders clearly unsure how to respond to this unexpected development. Rodriguez leaned forward at his station, studying energy readings from the Nausicaan vessels. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual variations in the emission patterns of approximately 40% of the Nausicaan ships. They match patterns referenced in Uma's transmission data." "Uma's faction," Stern confirmed. "Lieutenant Watanabe established secure communications with Admiral King on Earth, priority channel." Watanabe's fingers danced across his console. "Channel established, Captain." "Admiral King is responding." Admiral King's weathered face appeared on the main display. His eyes widened as he took in the Vigilant's bridge and crew. "Captain Stern, the Vigilant is operational." His voice carried equal measures of disbelief and hope. "Fully operational, Admiral. We have additional assets deployed throughout the system." 12 Sentinel-class destroyers are currently visible to Nausicaan sensors, with more in reserve. King's composure returned quickly, professionalism overtaking shock. "The ultimatum deadline approaches in under 4 hours. Evacuation efforts have only relocated 30% of colony populations. Our conventional fleet is deployed but critically outmatched. We have intelligence suggesting approximately 40% of the Nausicaan forces belong to a resistance faction," Stern replied. "Their representative, Ambassador Uma, indicates they oppose the military hardliners and may be potential allies." King processed this information with a curt nod. "That aligns with some intelligence we've gathered about factional divides within their government." Major Harrington stepped forward. Admiral, I've completed tactical analysis of the Nausicaan fleet. We're tracking 147 warships approaching from multiple vectors. Based on energy signature patterns, approximately 58 vessels match the profile of UMA's faction. The remaining 89 ships still represent a significant threat. Your recommendations, Captain? King asked. Stern studied the tactical display. We should demonstrate capability without revealing everything. I'm activating an additional 40 vessels from our hidden fleet. This will show significant force while maintaining strategic reserves. Authorized, King confirmed. Stern nodded to Rodriguez. Execute activation sequence for Reserve Group 1. Throughout the solar system, 40 additional warships emerged from concealment. Some rose from lunar craters, others decloaked near Jupiter and Saturn, while several more appeared from camouflaged asteroid bases. Like the Vigilant, their black hulls seemed to swallow light rather than reflect it. The Nausicaan sensor officers must have been in chaos as the tactical display showed their fleet formation dissolving further, ships adjusting positions in confusion and apparent alarm. Incoming direct transmission, Watanabe announced. It's Ambassador Uma. The Nausicaan ambassador appeared on a secondary display, her eyes widening as she took in the Vigilance bridge. Captain Stern, your vessel. Its capabilities exceed anything in our historical records. Ambassador, Stern acknowledged. You claim to represent a faction opposed to conflict with humanity. We're prepared to discuss terms, but time is limited. Uma regained her composure quickly. My faction has worked for decades to prevent full-scale war between our species. We believe cooperation benefits both our peoples more than conflict. She hesitated. We've gathered evidence of the hardliners' treaty violations but lacked sufficient proof of their illegal weapons Dr. meant. This invasion force provides that evidence. Dr. Zhang approached Stern, data tablet in hand. Captain, I've completed analysis of Uma's genetic markers. She transferred the data to the main display. These readings confirm human DNA sequences within Ambassador Uma's genetic structure. This validates theories of early human Nausicaan contact, where populations were incorporated rather than eliminated. Uma's expression registered genuine surprise. Certain bloodlines, including my own, have always been considered divergent among our people. The specific human connection was lost to history. This explains your faction's consistent advocacy for peaceful relations, Stern observed. Captain, Watanabe interrupted, I've intercepted communications from the Nausicaan flagship. Their commander, Admiral Drakath, has recognized the Vigilant from classified historical records. They're abandoning the ultimatum pretense and accelerating their attack timeline. Isaac noted the fear evident in the intercepted Nausicaan communications. These weren't the reactions of conquerors, but of commanders recognizing they faced superior technology. Rodriguez, activate the primary weapons array, Stern ordered. Target the 3 leading Nausicaan warships' neutralized capabilities only. The Vigilance gravitic manipulation array powered up, energy readings climbing rapidly on tactical displays. A precisely calculated pulse fired toward the designated targets. The effect was immediate and dramatic. All 3 Nausicaan vessels went dark, their propulsion and weapons systems completely disabled without structural damage. Admiral King, Stern said, turning back to the Earth transmission, now would be an appropriate time for a formal response to their ultimatum. King nodded, understanding the strategy. Within moments, his message transmitted across all frequencies to the Nausicaan fleet. Immediate withdrawal from human territory and recognition of human sovereignty throughout the solar system, backed by sensor data clearly demonstrating the human fleet's capabilities. Uma seized the moment, transmitting authentication codes to her faction. 53 Nausicaan vessels repositioned themselves between the hardliner fleet and human territories, creating a 3-way standoff. Admiral Drakath's response came swiftly. His vessels adjusted formation, targeting weapons directly at Uma's flagship. Before they could fire, 3 Sentinel destroyers intercepted, their point defense systems neutralizing the incoming weapon's fire with surgical precision. "Captain," Harrington called out urgently, "security teams report the Nausicaan guards have breached engineering section defenses." Stern nodded. "Major, take a team and neutralize the threat. Non-lethal measures only need them alive." As Harrington departed, Rodriguez's console flashed with warning indicators. "Captain, the stasis field holding Krell is drawing significant power. System stability decreasing. We can't maintain it indefinitely in our current operational state." "How long?" Stern asked. 6 hours maximum at current degradation rates," Rodriguez replied. Watanabe Station lit up with another incoming transmission. "Captain, one of the intruders has been captured. He claims Krell has a Deadman switch linked to explosives at the Mars archaeological site. If his life signs terminate or he remains in stasis beyond 6 hours, the explosives will detonate." Isaac felt his stomach tighten. The entire research team could be killed, along with valuable historical data about humanity's past. Admiral King's voice cut through the tension. "Captain Stern, the Galactic Concord has been notified and is dispatching observers to verify treaty violations. They won't arrive for at least 18 hours. "And our allies?" Stern asked. King's expression hardened, notably silent. "Intelligence suggests some may have been aware of Nausicaan plans without warning us." Stern's enhanced mind processed the complex situation, weighing strategic options against historic Dr. context. "Admiral, I believe there's a diplomatic solution. Dr. Zhang's discovery about human Nausicaan genetic connections could fundamentally reshape our relationship." "Explain," King prompted. "Rather than continuing this standoff, we reveal the truth about our shared history. Combined with our demonstration of technological superiority, it could create the foundation for a different kind of relationship built on mutual respect rather than dominance." King considered this. "You're proposing to rewrite 5 centuries of human-Nausicaan relations based on newly discovered genetic markers. The markers only confirm what the historical record suggests," Isaac interjected, working with Arya to compile evidence from the ship's archives. "Early contact between our species didn't always result in conflict. Some human populations integrated into Nausicaan society, contributing to their genetic diversity." Uma, still on the open channel, appeared thoughtful. "This would explain certain architectural and cultural anomalies in our oldest settlements that never aligned with pure Nausicaan design philosophy." "Admiral Drakath is requesting direct communication," Watanabe announced. On the main display, a heavily scarred Nausicaan appeared, distinctive black scales marking his species' military caste. "This is Admiral Drakath of the Imperial Fleet. How has humanity concealed such technology while presenting as technologically inferior for centuries?" "We chose concealment over confrontation," Stern answered simply. "This fleet was designed as a last resort, not as a first-strike capability." Visible consternation spread among Drakath's bridge crew, suggesting fractures in the hardliner position. Uma seized the moment, addressing all Nausicaan vessels about the genetic discovery. Several more ships broke formation with Drakath's fleet, joining her position. Isaac, collaborating with Arya, made another discovery in the historical archives. "Captain, I've found something critical. The original deception hiding humanity's capabilities was conceived in response to intercepted Nausicaan communications about subjugating Earth, but these originated exclusively from Drakath's ancestral faction, not all Nausicaan authorities. 5 centuries of tension resulting from a single faction's actions," Stern observed. "Admiral King, has the Defense Council reached a decision?" "They've voted to accept your diplomatic approach," King confirmed. "You're authorized to negotiate on behalf of humanity, Captain." Uma received confirmation from her own leadership supporting a formal alliance with humanity, a dramatic reversal of traditional Nausicaan policy. As negotiations progressed, Harrington's voice came through the comm system. "Captain, we've neutralized one intruder, but the second remains at large within engineering sections." Simultaneously, warning indicators flashed across tactical displays. Energy buildup detected in Drakath's flagship, Watanabe reported. Pattern matches no known Nausicaan weapons system. Major Harrington, returning to the bridge, analyzed the readings. "It's a planet cracker, Captain, capable of causing catastrophic damage to a terrestrial world. Worst violation of conquered treaties I've ever seen." Stern made her decision. "Activate 20 additional vessels near Earth, defensive formation, and bring the Vigilant to intercept course with Drakath's flagship." The ship surged forward, its superior propulsion systems rapidly closing distance. The additional human vessels appeared near Earth, their sudden materialization further diminishing Drakath's strategic advantage. Drakath's response came through decisive action rather than words. 38 Nausicaan warships converged on the Vigilant, weapons charged and ready. "Target their weapons systems only," Stern ordered. "Demonstrate precision, not destruction." The Vigilant's gravitic weapons fired in sequence, systematically disabling the offensive capabilities of the approaching vessels without causing catastrophic damage. The display of technological precision caused several more Nausicaan captains to stand down. "Captain," Watanabe called out. "Small vessel launching from Drakath's flagship. Command shuttle configuration with stealth systems active." The tactical display showed the shuttle slipping past defensive screens, setting course directly for Earth. Isaac, analyzing the shuttle's configuration, felt cold realization wash over him. "Captain, sensors detect a singularity device aboard a prohibited weapon capable of creating localized spacetime disruption." The blast radius could encompass an entire city. Stern assessed the situation instantly. "The Vigilant can't intercept in time. We need something faster." Her gaze locked on Isaac. "Mr. Vargas, you've demonstrated exceptional adaptation to our neural interfaces. Take command of the Harrierets designed for high-speed pursuit." "I'm not a pilot," Isaac protested. "Arya will handle technical operations," Stern replied. "We need your analytical capabilities on site." The Harriers docked in Auxiliary Bay 3. Isaac nodded, surprising himself with the calm certainty he felt. As he headed toward the bay, Arya's voice spoke directly into his neural implant. "Uploading tactical protocols and Harrier operational parameters to your neural interface. The vessel is preparing for immediate launch." Isaac reached the sleek interceptor as its systems came online. The craft was barely 30 meters long, its black hull bearing the same light-absorbing properties as the Vigilant. The cockpit canopy opened as he approached. "Harrier prepped for launch," Arya confirmed in his mind as he strapped into the pilot's seat. "Neural interface established." "You have command of Mr. Already, Mr. Vargas." The interceptor's engines hummed to life, a high-pitched whine building to a controlled roar. Launch bay doors opened, revealing the starfilled expanse beyond. "Tracking Drakath's shuttle," Arya reported. "Current trajectory indicates Earth destination. New Geneva Specifical, historical site of humanity's first unified government." "Pursuit course," Isaac commanded, feeling the ship respond to his thoughts as much as his words. The Harrier shot from the Vigilant's launch bay, accelerating at a rate that would have crushed an unaugmented human. Thanks to the interceptor's inertial dampening systems, Isaac felt only a firm pressure as the G-forces built. Behind him, Uma's closest vessels altered course to follow, though their larger size and slower acceleration meant they would arrive too late to prevent Drakath's attack. "Isaac," Uma's voice came through the comm system. "The singularity device has one weakness: it requires 4 to 7 seconds to stabilize before activation. That's your window for neutralization." Earth grew rapidly larger in the viewscreen as both vessels streaked toward the atmosphere. The Harrier closed distance steadily, but Drakath's head start still gave him an advantage. Entering upper atmosphere in 30 seconds, Arya announced. Structural integrity at maximum, weapons systems online. Isaac watched as both vessels hit the atmosphere, compression heating immediately generating brilliant re-entry trails visible across half the planet. Two blazing streaks cut across Earth's skyline pursuing the other in a desperate race against time. The Harrier shuddered as atmospheric friction buffeted its hull. Through the cockpit window, Isaac could see the fiery trail of Drakath's shuttle ahead, growing closer with each passing second. Through the cockpit window, Isaac could see the fiery trail of Drakath's shuttle ahead, growing closer with each passing second. Both vessels streaked through Earth's atmosphere, their trajectories cutting brilliant arcs visible to millions below. The neural interface flooded Isaac's mind with tactical data, as Arya continuously uploaded information on Drakath's shuttle specifications, weapon capabilities, and the Singularity device's power signatures. Pain seared behind his ice, neural implant wasn't designed to process data streams from technology centuries ahead of its time. Isaac gritted his teeth against the pain. Distance to target, 300 meters and closing, Arya responded. Target lock established. Sensors detect increasing power signature from the Singularity device. Estimated time to activation, 9 to 3 seconds. Isaac opened a communication channel. Admiral Drakath, your fleet has stood down. There's no strategic value in this attack. If you deploy that weapon, you'll destroy any possibility of negotiated peace. The screen flickered to life, revealing Drakath's scarred face. Black scales gleamed under the shuttle's emergency lighting. Peace was never the objective, human. Your species hid among the stars like prey, concealing your true nature. The strong do not hide. The strong conquer. The shuttle abruptly altered course, diving toward the sprawling complex of New Geneva, where the Earth Defense Council headquarters stood. Isaac's stomach tightened as he recognized the target. Millions of civilians populated the surrounding metropolis, completely unaware of the approaching threat. Isaac pushed the interceptor into a steeper dive, exceeding the vessel's structural tolerances. Warning indicators flooded his neural display as the ship's frame vibrated violently. Arya, calculate a targeting solution that will disable the shuttle without detonating the Singularity device. Conventional weapons risk triggering the device, Arya responded. Recommended alternative, deploy the interceptor's gravitic lance. Limited range requires proximity within 100 meters. The gravitic Lancia scale-down version of the Vigilant's primary weapon could disable the shuttle systems without destroying the vessel, but such close proximity would leave minimal time to escape if the device activated. Admiral King's voice broke through on the command channel. Freeman, we're tracking both vessels. Ground-based defenses cannot engage without risking civilian casualties. You're our only option. Isaac's neural implant relayed Captain Stern's voice from the Vigilant, where she coordinated with Uma's vessels now entering Earth orbit. The Singularity device follows a precise initiation sequence. If interrupted during the stabilization phase, the reaction collapses harmlessly. Major Harrington's voice followed. Freeman, if you can maintain position within the gravitic lance's effective range for 12 seconds, we can transmit the precise frequency to disrupt the device's stabilization sequence. Isaac acknowledged as he maneuvered through violently churning air currents, closing to within 200 meters of Drakath's shuttle. They descended to 20,000 feet above New Geneva. The city's distinctive architecture became visible below concentric circles radiating from the central government complex, buildings gleaming in the afternoon sun. The shuttle's hull glowed with residual re-entry heat, thermal distortion creating a shimmering effect around its frame. 59 seconds until device activation, Arya warned. Isaac pushed the interceptor through a series of evasive maneuvers as Drakath activated his shuttle's defense systems. Pulses of energy sliced through the atmosphere between the vessels, superheating the air. Each discharge created thunderclap disturbances that echoed across the city below. Isaac rolled the interceptor through a narrow gap between energy pulses, closing to 150 meters. "Freeman," Captain Stern's voice came through clearly. "We've analyzed the device. Maintain position within 100 meters for 12 seconds and we can transmit a disruption signal through your ship systems." "Understood," Isaac acknowledged. "Starting my approach now." Isaac cut the interceptor's main thrusters and deployed the atmospheric maneuvering surfaces. He executed a falling leaf deceleration that brought him directly above Drakath's shuttle. The interceptor's gravitic lance extended from its ventral surface, the weapon's emitter glowing with contained potential energy. "Gravitic lance range achieved," Arya confirmed. "Maintain position for 12 seconds. Transmission beginning." Drakath, recognizing the threat, attempted a violent evasive maneuver, but Isaac anticipated the move and matched it precisely. Years of archaeological excavations in unstable environments had honed his spatial awareness and fine motor control beyond that of most military pilots. 8 seconds remaining, Arya counted down. On the Vigilance Bridge, Lieutenant Watanabe established communication with Krell through the stasis field. The Nausicaan Guard commander glared through the field's translucent barrier, his red-tinted scales giving him a demonic appearance under the emergency lighting. "Your admiral has failed," Captain Stern told him calmly. "Your fleet is standing down." The explosives at the M-Doctor facility serve no purpose now except to kill innocent researchers. Dr. Zhang approached with a neural inhibitor. "We're releasing you from stasis, but this device will prevent you from triggering any Deadman switch. Cooperate, and you'll be treated according to Galactic Concord protocols for military prisoners." Krell's expression shifted, years of military discipline cracking under the realization of complete defeat. "The detonation sequence requires my neural signature every 30 minutes, he admitted. "The last confirmation was 17 minutes ago. 4 seconds remaining." Arya continued the countdown as Isaac held position above Drakath's shuttle. The Singularity device's power signature spiked as it entered the stabilization phase. The Vigilant transmitted the disruption frequency through Isaac's interceptor, the gravitic lance channeling the precisely calibrated signal directly into the shuttle's hull. The signal penetrated the shuttle's shielding and reached the device just as stabilization began. For 3 terrifying seconds, the device's energy signature continued to build, then abruptly collapsed. The carefully balanced quantum reaction dissolved into harmless subatomic particles. Drakath's anguished roar came through the communication channel as his last-ditch effort failed. "Device neutralized," Arya confirmed. "Shuttle propulsion and weapons systems remain operational." Isaac maintained position above the shuttle, gravitic lance still deployed. "Admiral Drakath, power down your systems. It's over." Instead of complying, Drakath rerouted all remaining power to engines, pushing his shuttle into a near-vertical dive toward the Earth Defense Council headquarters. Without the Singularity device, the shuttle itself became his weapon, a kamikaze attack targeting the heart of Earth's leadership. Isaac made an instantaneous decision, firing the gravitic lance at full power. The weapon was designed to disable systems, not for structural damage, but at point-blank range and maximum output. The gravitic distortion tore through the shuttle's hull. The vessel broke apart, scattering debris across the sky above New Geneva. In the final moment before disintegration, Drakath transmitted one last message. "We should have eliminated your kind when we first discovered Earth. Your deception only delayed the inevitable." The shuttle's power core detonated in a brilliant flash. The explosion engulfed Isaac's interceptor, battering the small craft with shock waves and superheated plasma. The neural interface went dark as emergency systems activated. Isaac felt the craft spinning, controls unresponsive as the interceptor plummeted toward the ground. Through the damaged cockpit, Isaac glimpsed the surface of Lake Geneva rushing up to meet him. He braced for impact as the interceptor struck the water at a shallow angle, skipping once before plunging beneath the surface. Water rushed in through fractured seams in the hull. The emergency beacon activated automatically, transmitting the interceptor's location. "Freeman, respond." Admiral King called urgently over the communication system. "Vigilant, do you have him on sensors?" For 10 agonizing seconds, no response came. Then, a small signal appeared on the Vigilant's tactical display interceptor's emergency beacon, transmitting from Lake Geneva. The cold water revived Isaac momentarily. Pain radiated throughout his body, but the neural implant had triggered emergency medical protocols, stabilizing his vital functions. He fought to stay conscious as the interceptor gradually filled with water. Through the cracked canopy, he saw the first rescue drone splash down nearby, its lights piercing the darkening water. 48 hours later, the Galactic Concord observation team arrived in Earth orbit to find a transformed situation. UMA's Nausicaan faction and humanity's revealed fleet maintained a cooperative defensive posture, with joint patrols establishing security throughout the solar system. The conquered representatives, including species who had remained silent during the crisis, expressed shock at both humanity's hidden capabilities and the illegal weapons deployed by Dra Doctor H's faction. In the Vigilance medical bay, Isaac regained consciousness with Dr. Zhang monitoring his recovery. His neural implant, overloaded during the battle, had been carefully repaired using the ship's advanced medical technology. Captain Stern entered, now moving with greater strength as her body continued recovering from stasis. "You took quite a risk, Freeman," she said, reviewing his medical data. "That interceptor wasn't designed for the maneuvers you executed." Isaac attempted to sit up, wincing at the pain in his ribs. "Seemed like the right call at the time. What's happening with the Nausicaans?" "Admiral King and UMA are negotiating a formal alliance treaty," Stern explained. Drakath's remaining hardliners have been contained, and the Galactic Concord is beginning an investigation into their treaty violations. But the more interesting development concerns Dr. Zhang's discovery. The doctor approached, displaying genetic analysis on a holographic projection. "We've confirmed that approximately 8% of current Nausicaan genetic diversity comes from human origins. During early encounters centuries ago, instead of complete conquest, some Nausicaan explorers integrated human populations into their society. UMA's lineage shows particularly strong human markers, suggesting her ancestors were among these integrated populations." Isaac processed this revelation. So humanity's hidden fleet was built to defend against an enemy who, at least partially, was already us. "History has a way of revealing unexpected connections," Stern agreed. "The fleet served its purpose not through warfare, but by creating the conditions for truth to emerge." On Mars, engineer Rodriguez worked with Krell to deactivate the explosives at the archaeological site. The Nausicaan Guard, realizing the complete failure of his faction's strategy, provided Doctor the necessary neural signatures to safely disable the devices. The human research team, including Dr. Wei, who had warned Isaac earlier, emerged unharmed. 3 weeks later, a formal ceremony took place aboard the Vigilant, still maintaining position near Earth. Admiral King and Captain Stern represented humanity, while UMA led the Nausicaan delegation. Isaac, still showing signs of his injuries but formally dressed in an archaeologist's uniform modified with military honors, stood as the official witness to the proceedings. The treaty they signed established the Human Nausicaan Cooperative Defense Initiative, a power-sharing arrangement that acknowledged both species' capabilities while establishing mutual oversight of military assets. More significantly, a secondary agreement created a joint historical commission to excavate both human and Nausicaan archives, piecing together the fragmented truth of their shared past. After the ceremony, Isaac found himself alone with Uma on the Vigilance observation deck, Earth visible through the massive transparent viewport. The Nausicaan archaeologists studied the planet with genuine fascination. For centuries, my people described Earth as a primitive world that needed guidance, she said. Our educational systems taught that humans lacked the vision and discipline for true greatness. How thoroughly we deceived ourselves about those who had mastered the art of deception. Isaac smiled. Both our species kept secrets that nearly destroyed us. Perhaps transparency will serve us better. Uma turned to face him, her scaled features expressing what Isaac now recognized as thoughtfulness. The genetic connection between our people was hidden in plain sight. Many Nausicaans with human ancestry exhibit traits our society particularly values: adaptability, creative problem-solving, willingness to challenge authority when necessary. Traits that defined your actions during this crisis. And your actions as well, Isaac pointed out. Your faction chose cooperation over dominance, even before knowing of any genetic connection. The observation deck door slid open as Captain Stern entered with Admiral King. The conquered representatives have departed, King informed them. Their preliminary ruling acknowledges humanity's right to maintain our technological capabilities, given the proven threat posed by the hardliner faction. And the hidden fleet, Isaac asked, will remain partially hidden, Stern answered. We've agreed to maintain a deployment schedule that gradually reveals additional vessels over the next decade. Enough to ensure security without destabilizing the political balance among conquered species. Admiral King added, the Defense Council has authorized continuing the recommissioning process for the remaining stasis crew. Captain Stern and her team will oversee the integration of fleet technology with our current defense systems. Uma's communication device activated, displaying a message that caused her scales to flush with what Isaac now recognized as excitement. The preliminary findings from the Mars site have been processed, she explained. The bunker contains star charts identifying 17 additional locations throughout former Nausicaan territories where human populations may have been integrated. Each potentially contains both cultural and technological repositories from the contact period. Isaac straightened, archaeological instincts fully engaged despite his injuries. Those repositories could help us understand exactly how our species' histories intertwined and perhaps why both sides chose to obscure those connections. Captain Stern studied the star chart with the perspective of someone who had lived during the period in question. Some of these locations correspond to regions our intelligence identified as potential threats. The fleet was positioned to defend against these specific areas if necessary. Then it seems we have our next mission, Isaac suggested, looking between Uma and Stern. An archaeological expedition with military escorto, discover the truth our ancestors thought too dangerous to preserve.